Hey there, my name is E.W. Buckley. I'm a composer, music producer, and Ableton certified trainer, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we are talking about the Ableton Live 12.4 update that dropped earlier this week. But specifically today, I want to focus on the update to 3 of the core effects for Ableton Live, which is Erosion, Chorus-Ensemble, and Delay. And the reason why I really want to focus on these is it might seem like they're very small updates in the grand scheme of things, but they are not, okay? The things that you can now do with just the few extra parameters that were unlocked on all 3 of these plugins are so much more significant than you realize. And I am so willing to bet that once you learn these techniques, you are going to use the updates to these 3 devices more than you're going to use anything that might seem flashier in this update. So let's jump right in and talk about it. So let's start with what is maybe the update that I'm most excited about, which is Erosion. Now, Erosion is like a day 1 Ableton Live effect. It shipped with version 1, and it is an effect that is unique to Live. So let's talk briefly about what Erosion is actually doing. Erosion is just a short delay that is modulated by either a sine wave or filtered white noise. And it creates a really interesting digital textural artifacting that just makes sounds genuinely like pop out of a mix. So I have this pad here. Let's listen to it just without Erosion, and then notice how it jumps forward when I bring it in. Now, previously, you had to select between either the white noise or the sine wave on Erosion, but now we can seamlessly blend between the two. And we have these really nice visualizations to help us out, which is just one of the new parts of this update. And so we can see at 0%, we're getting all sine wave, and at 100%, we're getting all white noise. Now, we can also adjust the stereo image in real time, as well as change the frequency. But the fact that we can do all of this while blending between the noise and the white noise is really exciting texturally. And this is the kind of thing where my brain immediately goes to modulation. And so let's play around with that a little bit. We can map our noise blend to be controlled by an LFO, and we'll set it to stray. Let's go with that and slow our rate down a little bit here. And let's expand LFO. And we'll also set it to remote just so we can visualize what's happening. And let's map it to the frequency also, but we'll reverse the movement. So that way we're working in a bit of a different band here. Yeah, so, I dialed it in there so we were really just kind of working in that sweet mid-range area. The noise blend never gets high enough that it's triggering us to hear it as a note. But it is just such a crazy texture add when you modulate these parameters. Again, here it is without the erosion. And with. It's so good. Let's even jump over to the drums here as well, where I'm using Erosion. Here are the drums without Erosion. And then with. so good. It's so good. It just makes sounds pop. Speaking of making sounds pop, let's actually jump over to the guitar here because I want to focus on Chorus-Ensemble and the updates to chorus. Now, I'm going to mute this texture time. We're going to come back to that. But the big update with chorus is that we have two new parameters that we can control. We've got a time control for the chorus delay, as well as then a taps control, which you could really just think of as the number of delay lines being used to generate the chorus. Chorus requires two things to create the effect. We need to make a copy of the signal, at least one, and we need to delay it by a certain time value. And then we also need to modulate its pitch. Those two things combined allow us to create a chorus effect. Now, previously, chorus really just focused on allowing us to play with how the pitch was modulated. And stuff related to the delay was really just automated for the most part. But now we just have so much more control with a whole bunch of set time values that we can play with in addition to the automatic time, and then the number of delay lines. So here's just a very simple guitar part, and I'm going to go ahead and play around with some of these values so that you can hear how they really affect the sound. Now, when you get to something like 50 milliseconds, that sounds pretty seasick. But again, chorus is made up of two different parameters that we have to navigate how they're being modulated together. And so this one's really like intense, but that's because this rate is pretty fast. And we're hearing now more so that modulation and pitch. But if I play this again and slow down the rate, even this long delay time becomes really pleasant. You can see, and well, really, you can hear that even as I'm flipping through these various parameters, there's so many different colors and styles of chorusing that we can get now, which is really exciting because just in the same way that, distortion or overdrive has a lot of different flavors, so does chorus, and this really unlocks all of those flavors. Now let's jump over to this texture time here, because this is where we get to like the most significant part of this update for me, and that is the update to delay. And it is wild how significant of an update it is to what we can do with delay, despite the fact that only one thing has changed about delay. And that is we now have control over the wave shape of the LFO built into delay. And we're also able to morph it. And that does so much from a sound design perspective. Previously on the, what's now legacy delay, we just had a sine wave and we couldn't really do a whole ton of shaping with it. But now we can, and that is so cool. And I've just been playing all around with it. Like, for example, right now I have this delay set up where it's a square wave and the delay is modulating 100% of the delay time at a rate of a 16th note. And it creates this almost like, it sounds as if the guitar is being ran through like a metal tube, but we're opening and closing the end of that tube every 16th note, frankly. You'll hear immediately what I'm talking about. And there's so much that you can do with all of this, frankly. Like, I just went through and created a bunch of different snapshots for this rack because just modulating the small amount of parameters that I have assigned to macros here on this delay gets such an awesome textural variance. Sprinkles here, for example. Because the cool thing is when you have a square wave and then you're just modulating delay value by 100%, you're pretty much just shifting up and down in octaves, which is really neat. And you can see why I called it sprinkles. But listen as I play with this morph control, how the shape of that LFO changes. And more so, it's how that rhythm changes. And so just modulating those parameters puts us into a bunch of really interesting spaces. Like you could make it sound like a purring cat, which is just hilarious. And then by just modulating the same 8 macros, you can create something that sounds as luxurious as this velour setup. So let's look a little deeper into what delay is doing for us in this update. And to do that, let's hop back over to the drums. Now, there are various waveforms, but some of my favorites are these ramps, and in particular, this ramp up. With this ramp up waveform set to a delay value of 100%, you can create really cool reverse delay effects. And the key to that is really getting the timing dialed in. And for these drums, it worked really nicely to have, a 4/16th note value or a quarter note value on the delay time, and then a 3/16 or a 3/16th note value for the rate. So here are the drums without this delay. And then with. And it creates this cool reverse wind-up textural effect that kind of sounds, in this case, like somebody trying to get the motor on like a lawnmower up and running, but like a cool lawnmower, if you will. And it adds so much rhythmic value to what's going on with the delay. And to really double down on this point, let me play this section labeled flute. That entire melody that we're hearing isn't actually the part that was written. Instead, it's a 100% wet delay that I have set up with that ramp up waveform to reverse the output, which is just so mind-blowingly cool to me, because it now creates this awesome counter melody just from using an audio effect. Let me bring it to 100% dry so you can hear the part as actually written, and then I'll slowly bring up the delay so you can really understand how it is transforming the sound. That is just crazy. It's something that I'm going to use all the time. just like all the time, to unlock new, interesting melodic possibilities. Again, just because we get a change in the waveforms available to us on the LFO on delay, 12.4 seems like such a simple update, but when you actually investigate what's going on underneath the hood, it's way bigger than you might realize. And so now let's listen to this whole section where we've got some interesting things going on both with the guitar and the drums and this flute and string that's all being generated by erosion and delay and chorus. So as you can see, there are so many cool new things that you can do with the updates to Chorus-Ensemble, delay, and erosion. And I've been having so much fun using them in my own productions. Now, if you want to get some of the cool racks and presets that I have created for myself using these updated devices, you can go over to my website and grab them, or better yet, you can subscribe to my Patreon. By becoming a patron at the artist tier, you get this pack of preset racks, as well as all of my other presets, like truly all of them. If I've made them and I've talked about them, like they are on there. And it is the best possible way to support the continued development of this channel. Thank you so much for watching, and please consider liking, subscribing, and leaving a comment. I'm working really hard to grow this channel to 50,000 subscribers by the end of 2026, and it is your support entirely that makes it possible. Till next time.